All right. Hey. How we doing, brother?
Hey, doing amazing, man. Great to see you, family.
Great to see you, man. And it's great to see the live working too, because sometimes it acts out. And
Right.
I'm seeing you really clear. I could hear you really clear, so that's perfect.
Awesome, man. And yeah, I know sometimes it's a little wacky, but yeah. Yeah, man. Blessed be, brother. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling pretty good, man. I just finished doing some breath work and
Mm.
did my Wing Chun forms, which is like my meditation. So, feeling pretty zened out. How are you feeling today, man?
Feeling great, man. We just did some qigong, but like when it comes to Wing Chun, how long do your meditations usually last in the rising?
So, they're actually kind of short, but I would say maybe maybe like 10 minutes. Yeah, they're short ones, and I do them every time when I wake up, and then usually before going to sleep. It's kind of like my warm up for the day. And
Okay.
then what does take longer are my walks. So my Wing Chun walks, that I could go for hours on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you do it when you wake and you do it when you're winding down. So on the wake up, the walk in, and the wind down, you do breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Yes.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah,
You
man.
know, yeah, you got to get that nutrition in, right?
Yeah. Wing Chun wake, the Wing Chun walk, and the Wing Chun wind down.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, how
That's awesome.
about you, brother? How do you start off your risings?
Yeah. So, we started off with meditation for sure. And then we get some circulation. We get the breath with respiration, and then we have, out there, we have the congregation. We go out, we find a place to set up for the folks, that like to chime in, and it's been wonderful. It's been wonderful to feel people's energy, and it just accentuates it. Like just like the pranic church, like pranalujah, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, like Did you come up with that, by the way? That was your invention, right? You coined that?
I can't take credit for that. I feel like it was one of the calls. I think it was me, Nabiha, and Louisa, and we were all just kind of like messing around, and somehow it just it just kind of came about. I don't remember who said it first, or because we were making fun of you know the the whole hallelujah because we were feeling the Holy Spirit, and then we just got, oh, we're feeling the prana, the prana spirit, and then from there somebody might have said hallelujah, and then we turned it into pranalujah, and then it's just been turning into a movement now.
It is a movement, and it's like I love the message behind it, the feeling behind it, and the energy behind it. Because whenever you say hallelujah, like when you said the Holy Spirit, were you raised in the church? Like what were you in a certain denomination or any religion?
No, I can't say I was. Of course, my dad was Catholic, and so I had gone to church as a kid, but it wasn't like a big part of the fam. Like it wasn't that huge. Like it wasn't a huge part of the family. My dad would do. He would go on the special holidays. He would try to go every Sunday, but it wasn't that. You know, I know for some people it's a big part of like the culture and how they grew up, but for me it was I thought about it as what came to mind at that time when I said it was like how sometimes you see church functions and the people are just feeling a lot of energy, and they're like, I feel the Holy Spirit, and so that's what came to mind. I was kind of like, tapping into that same kind of idea.
That and now everybody's tapping in. It's steadily growing the pranic network, the group, the congregation, it's increasing, you know. And I love how people are coming from all walks of life. You know, it reminds me of, there was a post that you put up, speaking of which, on the 11th or the 18th coming up, there's going to be a retreat at Davie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it looked like a whole bunch of people came together. It looked like you were one of the breathwork teachers. Were you teaching?
Yeah, yeah, I was guiding the breath work for it, and it was a cacao and sound healing ceremony, and it was it was really beautiful. I mean, a lot of people turned out, which like I said on the call last Sunday, it was like a nice hope for humanity, that on a Saturday night everyone's gathering around for self-cultivation, right? Self-growth and spiritual healing, as opposed to, parties and going to clubs or other functions that I'm sure were going on that night. So that was beautiful to witness.
Right.
Yeah, like I think like you said before, when you're doing the qigong with everybody, it's like I feel like we all go deeper together, right?
We do. You know, they say if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far,
Mm,
go
wow.
together, right? You know,
Wow.
what do you enjoy most when it comes to teaching and reaching, fellow people that are coming around and gathering in events and ceremonies like that?
Yeah. I think what I love the most is seeing, when you first go into, I don't know, a place and you see everybody's faces, and then when you see people's face after, like that for me is very touching to me. So like you can see like the amount of tension that they have in the beginning, and then everyone just being lit up after, and seeing the ease in their spirit, that's one of the things I love the most to see. And then everything in that space, they just feel more optimistic and about life in general, about everything. It's Hakuna
Yeah,
Matata. Like it's not that all this stress isn't, it's not that big of a deal.
right. What a wonderful phrase,
Yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? It means no worries for the rest of your days,
For the rest
right?
of your
You know,
days, yeah.
the problem-free philosophy.
Mm.
Hakuna Matata.
Hakuna
Timon and
Matata.
Pumbaa, they taught us. Timon and Pumbaa, they told us years ago. They weren't lying, you know? And you know how it feels to release that tension, to relieve that tension in your body. I know you know how it feels. So to be able to witness the before and the after of someone else, I know that's got to feel good to you. You know.
Yeah, yeah, it does. It does. How about you, man, with the qigong? Because for one, how long have you been doing it? I know you've been doing it every single day, right?
Yeah, since last December,
Hmm.
we've been keeping it pretty consistent. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome. What keeps you going with it? What got you? What prompted you to start doing that every morning, like and having people join in? And if anybody wanted to join in too, how could they go about doing so?
Well, we do it every day right here, right here on Instagram. So it's just live. I know in Florida time it would be at 11 o'clock because over
Yeah.
here I'm in California right now, so I do it at 8 o'clock. Whenever I'm in Texas, I'll do it at 10 o'clock. So
Mm.
I just put the time zones and I cater to the people who, tap in at that synchronized time, so we're all in together, all in harmony, coming together. I was already doing it for myself, so the fact that I get to do it also for someone else is a privilege. That's a privilege for me, and a pleasure as well. You know, yeah. I feel like Ralph Smart,
Yeah. Infinite waters.
diving deep.
Diving deep. Breathing in that good ass prana, baby.
Right? Can I get a hello?
Oh man. Yeah. That's the best part.
Right? motion this side. Right? So Ralph Smart said in one of his videos a long time ago, I remember this, and I don't know if anybody else was paying attention, but I was paying attention. Because, you know, he has so many messages. He talks about 7-day vegan challenge, you know, deep divers, you know, he's got all these messages. But one time, you know how he always talks about in the heart of nature, baby, right? He's in the heart of nature. After the video, he said, I'm already healed, you know? Like, look where I am. He's like, I'm in the heart of nature. After I do this video for you, I'm already healed, you know?
I
I'm
love
healed.
that.
So when I realized that I was doing something every day that was already healing me, I wanted to see, okay, well, what if I just shared that healing energy with others? I'm already doing it for myself. How about someone else? You know? Maybe they can feel just like, you know, you see people feel how they can do it for themselves and see the magic, see the miracles, see the wonders, see how they are magnificent, see how they can create, you know, different things with their chemistry and co-create with the cosmic forces that are always raining down. So I was like, okay, this is the energy that I want to put around. Yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So asking, bro, you know, it's like sometimes you don't even realize what a privilege it can be when you already have that platform and put out that positive energy. It's like, why not? You know? Nabiha was one of those people that told me that. She said, why not? Right? Why everybody else is asking why? Why
why
not?
not? Yeah. Yeah. What got you? What got you? So I want to hear your story, man. And like, how did you start? What got you? What began your embarkation in this like spiritual journey in cultivation? Like, what got you? Was it like Qigong? Was that one of the first things that you started practicing? That you took up as a practice? Like, how were you? Were you always into these things, like into, you know, spiritual practice? Like, where did you come from? Like, tell us some more.
I love that.
We want to know.
He's like, where did you come from?
Yeah.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Like Cotton Eye Joe, right? Where did you come from? Oh man. You know, when it came to spiritual practices, that was definitely not my forte. My forte was finding fulfillment on the couch, playing video games. That was my forte, you know. And I know we're both gamers, so we can understand like the mind that you have
Yeah.
to be it for hours and hours and hours. Right?
Days.
You see SpongeBob? You know how SpongeBob
Yeah.
have those little messages like 4 hours later, right?
Yeah.
10 hours later. That was me, right? That was me. Glory, brother. So I would be there, and then when I was, you know, really coming into a lot of stress and frustration with my current relationship years ago, I didn't know what to do. You know, I didn't know how to be. I didn't know what to say. Communication was just kind of, you know, there was no communication. There was just a lot more complications in that relationship. But meditation came along through none else but technology. Ironically, technology, the same thing that I was, you know, using my time for, that I was using my mind for, I
Wow.
started to get more aligned when I started to find things within the technology, within this box here. And one of them was called Insight Timer, and the other one was called Headspace. You heard of these two apps?
I heard of Headspace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Headspace and Insight Timer, those were the ones that revealed to me that there was a whole world of meditation. I had no idea, you know? Like I was on the couch, you know, I was sitting there, but there was a lot of things that I wasn't getting while I was sitting, right? So
Yeah.
when I started sitting down intentionally and really started that, like you titled this, cultivation, that allowed for new information.
Mm.
And it was able to raise my vibration and let go of a lot of frustration because I didn't know that I could feel peace without
Mm.
a substance. You know, I didn't know that I could feel that sense of ease or that sense of just fulfillment, contentment. I didn't know that I could have that without having to drink something, without having to smoke something, without having to toke something, without having to, you
Mm.
know, I could just be. And that felt so freeing, you know, when I was changing the ways that I was seeing. So that started my journey. And that was in 2017. And then in 2019, I met Eli Tom. He's the one that taught me Qigong. So I learned Qigong from Eli Tom. And then the rest is history. Yeah.
Man, how did you so all right, so you discovered meditation, right? And like other Tom says, meditation is the foundation, right?
Right? Yeah.
So you started building your foundation. I mean, now I guess it makes sense connecting the dots backwards. How how you then would stumble upon Tom, from that. But I'm curious, how did you? Because even from there, right, from meditation, how did you then shoot up to fasting and cultivating prana and letting go of like the food attachments and all that? Because Eli Tama, that's a big leap from just meditation, right? A lot of people don't make such a big leap and in such a short time. So how did you even find out about Ellie Time? Like, what did you how did your path start developing that you started moving that
So,
way?
this gentleman over here, his name is Josh. You don't see him, he's off camera. Say what's up to the folks.
Hey, Glory to
Hey.
Hey, how
what's going
you
on?
doing, brother?
Hey, how's it going, my brother?
Uh,
So I was.
Going great, man.
Is it
I have seen you hop on the lives before, man. You always have some just beautiful insight that you share, man, and it's good to finally meet
Yes,
you.
sir. I appreciate that. This is my good brother, it's a glorious king right here, man, and he established a platform, so we just here to share.
I
yeah.
love it. I love the brotherhood. The brotherhood feels strong there,
It
man.
is, man. And we in alignment. We vibrate at a high level. And, you know what I'm saying? We have the same frequencies going on.
Oh,
Blessings.
Yeah, for sure.
So I was saying I met Josh, and back in 2019, I remember in the same kitchen right here, in the same kitchen, bro. So my uncles, they having a big cookout, right? Can you hear me still?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So my aunts, my uncles, they're having a big old cookout. They cooking everything on the stove. They cooking the
Mhm.
yams, they cooking the turkey, the chicken, the sausage links, the everything. They the type like, boy, you better get this meat, you better eat this sausage, you better eat this chicken, you better eat this, right? And I'm looking at Josh. You just seen him, right?
Yeah.
And he's teaching me he doesn't touch that. I'm like, what?
Mm.
Because this was back when I was eating everything. And he's the only one in the house that doesn't eat animal flesh. He doesn't eat animals. So I was like, wait a minute. How? What? Back when everybody's telling you, like, where am I going to get my protein and where am I going to get my this and where am I going to, how am I going to be big and this? And he's demonstrating that it can be
Yeah.
done without any of it. And not only that, he told me, I'll never forget this. He said, yeah, man, when I stopped eating meat, I felt like Superman.
Mm.
I said, what? Superman. I said, yeah, man. When I stopped eating meat, I felt like Superman. I said, you gotta be kidding me. Get out of here. Right? It was like, like Morpheus. Morpheus holding the red and the blue pill. He said, like, I can only show you the door.
Mm.
You're the one that has to walk through it. You know? I'm only offering the truth, nothing more. You take the red pill, you take the blue pill, it's up to you, right? It's your choice. So that's what he offered me. He offered me a way when I thought there was no way. I didn't even know there was another way. I didn't know there was another, you know. So that led me down the path of less and less and less. And then, just like you said, Ellitown was a big leap. So I kind of jumped off the cliff and assembled my parachute in the air, you know, as I was falling. You know, I'm like, okay, let me get it. Okay, clip, 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 boom, shoot, you know. That was like what it felt like, because I jumped straight from, you know, full carnivore, like straight eating everything, all animal flesh, animal products. I jumped over vegetarian, over vegan, over raw vegan, over fruitarian, and I went straight into liquid, straight into liquid, you know? But I desired such a change at that point in my life. So it didn't seem strange because I wanted that change.
Mm.
I craved it more than I craved the food. I craved desperate for something different in my life. You know, where I was headed, the direction I was headed was not satisfying me. You know, it was not gratifying me. So I said, there has to be something else. And he let me know there is something else. And from there, the monks and the nuns that I was hanging out with at the time, meditation allowed me to, I think, be in that similar field for them. The things that they revealed to me, it went in. The seed was already planted. They just watered it.
Yeah.
Watered that seed. Then, on top of teaching me meditation and all these different methods and modalities, they said, hey, don't you know there's people that don't eat? I said, what? Wait a minute. Hold up. Like, what? The DJ stopped the track, right? He was like, whoa, rewind that, right? I said, hold on. You telling me. And so that led me down to find Elitam. I started doing my research. You know, YouTube is a wonderful source when you know what you're looking for. You know, you don't know what you're looking for. YouTube is, you know, don't say less, right? You know, the algorithm could get you real quick.
Yeah.
Can have you off real quick. So that's what led me over there. And that's when I took my first solid food vacation, which was only going to be 1 month. It turned into 3 months, and I felt so good. I felt like I had never felt before in my life, and I was genuinely afraid. I can say this: I was afraid to actually go back to eating because I had never felt like that before. And I was like, all I had to do was stop doing something that I was doing for 28 years, and now all of these fears disappear, all of this anxiety disappears, all of this all of this energy comes back. Where was that, right? So that was a revelation for me. So thank you for asking.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, man. There was so much goodness in that. And I love how you said a big part that was your desire, right? Like and it's so interesting, right? How it's like that saying of when the student is ready, the teacher appears, right? It's like I feel like a lot of us can resonate with that, and we've all had kind of like almost like an initiation, if you will, like out of the matrix. We all had our Morpheuses, right? Like my Morpheus was Wayne with the Wing Chun, you know, and of course we could use the symbology even for some of the smaller changes in our life too. And that's beautiful that Josh was there as that standing example, right? I mean, here's a guy that looks great and like big, like healthy yet strong structure. Skin is glowing, you know, and he's like, I don't touch that stuff. You're like, hold on. He knows something, you know. And then you received it, you know, because so many people hear the same messages, right? I'm sure people have come across you, people have come across Josh, not everybody takes it in, right? And so you were just ready, like you said, you were that fertile soil where all of these things that you were receiving were ready to grow and being watered. And it's beautiful that it sounds like you were so motivated by what you desired, right? Wanting to feel better, wanting to get more of what this has to offer, that the attachments, right? All the programs that you had to reprogram, you weren't even thinking about them, right? And I think that's such a big part, because a lot of times, um, I don't know. Do you think maybe people are maybe people try to jump farther than what they can? They leap further. Like, what do you think has made the difference in your path, and why you continued, right? And you continued consistently while others seem to fall off, you know?
That's a great question, man. And as you speak that, Daniel, I'm thinking to myself, because they have a saying like man's reach exceeds his grasp.
Mm,
Like
I like
sometimes we'll
that.
do something, but when I said to myself, there's no destination, like this is a journey. When I treated it as a journey instead of looking at the end goal or looking at a finish line that I didn't know where that would be, I just said, okay, I'm just going to be on this journey, and I'm not going to put a timeline. I'm not going to put a deadline. I'm going to stop counting the days, you know? I'm just going to let it be what it is and let it evolve naturally. For me it was a mixture of inspiration but also desperation, you
Mm,
know? That created the desire. The marriage, the holy marriage of inspiration and desperation, right? They say when you are curious, you learn. But when you are desperate,
mm,
you discover, right? So for
mm,
me, that discovering came from desperation. It came from that mixture, and it came from me just saying, okay, the one who enjoys walking will walk further than the one who enjoys the destination, right?
mm,
Like the one who just loves it. I learned to love it. I love cultivating energy. I love being out in nature. I love being under the sun. I love walking in the sky. I love walking. I love talking. I love reading. I love infusing my mind. I love food for thought. I love engaging myself in different forms of nourishment that I never knew existed. I just love learning. And this seemed like a path that was endlessly teaching me, endlessly reaching me in so many ways that I was able to say, oh, wow, like I'm actually learning way more now that I let these things go and let these things flow instead of trying to force,
mm,
right?
mm,
Because I was used to trying to, make things happen, but I wasn't used to allowing things to happen. The feminine energy of the yin. The yin and the yang. The yang can be strong, right? You want to manifest, you want to make things happen, you want to take it.
mm.
Ah!
Yeah.
But what about, you know,
Mm,
what about that, right? Has to be, there has to be space to allow something to take that place.
mm.
You have to create space, you know? So, so yeah.
That's beautiful, man. Would you say that you were more of the yang energy type? Had to learn your yin, or were you more yin and had to learn yang? Do you think it's like balancing the two that helps you move with more grace?
Say that one more time.
Yeah, yeah. So for one, I was wondering if you resonate as being more were you more yang energy, right? Like prior to this journey of cultivation, were you more of a yang energy type and then had to discover your yin and hone that to kind of balance it out? Or were you more of a yin and had to get the yang? And would you say that like like balancing out the two is what kind of gives us grace in our movements in life?
Absolutely. You said it. You said it. You hit the head on the nail. You know, or you hit the nail on the head. Right?
I love that. You just yin yanged it. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Mhm. That's what I love about you, bro. Like when you laugh, it's so contagious. It's a hearty laugh. You know, you come from your heart, man. It's like full belly laugh. I love it. I love it, man.
Thank you.
It's very healthy. It's healthy.
Thank you. But you know, when you said that, I had heard the word hearty laugh before, but how you expressed it with your movements made me understand what that was. Yeah, it
Yeah,
made
it's a
me
heart.
understand my own laugh more. That was cool.
No, it's heart filled. Laughter is medicine. You know, we talk about how meditation could be medication, but also the laughter vibration. You
Mm,
know, there's so much we can relieve a lot of stagnation with the laughter vibration. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It shakes stuff up, doesn't it? Just like
Yup.
sometimes we're holding on to too much, and it's like the wow. I just realized that it's like the way the being just releases stuff, it shakes it all up and lets it go. Yeah, but yeah, I wanna go back to that the yang and the yin and what you know you felt more of in the past and how you yeah.
I had to find balance because, you know, I didn't know that I could just allow certain things. I thought I had to make things happen. I didn't know things could actually happen on their own,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
So I was in depression, and I'm actually fortunate that I didn't have so much education when it came to nutrition. My mom is a doctor. She's an obstetrician gynecologist, so she had a lot of educational knowledge when it came to, you know, that field and the health field, like what the body needs and what we need and this and that. Since I didn't have all that, there was less to there
Mm,
was there were less layers to peel back.
mm,
There was less to peel back. It was like I was already kind of at a place where I could be written on. There was enough space. There was enough tea to go in to the cup,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The cup was already kind of empty on that side, so I could take on a new way of being because my mindset already was freeing in that aspect of what do we need to survive? What are these minerals? What are these vitamins? What is nourishment? What is nutrition? What is this B12? What are these omega 3s? What are this fish oil and this and that
Mm,
and protein? Where does this come from and what does it all mean? And I was questioning that, you know? I was questioning that. Can I survive without this? You know?
mm,
Do I have to put this in my mouth to exist?
mm,
Or does my body actually have something that is beyond me? If my body has kept me alive this long without my conscious awareness, if my breath, my lungs are expanding and contracting, without my conscious awareness, my heart is beating, without my conscious awareness, my internal organs, my body is functioning, my mind is functioning. Even when I sleep, my body is functioning, all without my conscious awareness. Why do I think that I'm smarter or more intelligent than my body?
Mm.
Why do I think I know exactly what my body needs when I'm still alive? Right? Who am I to say my body must have it this way? Right? And
Right.
the plants that stretch up to the sun, you know, and the animals that we eat that eat the plants, and then the plants that they eat that eat the sun, right?
Mm.
Why can't I just go to the source? So when I realized I could, I said, of course.
And set the course he did.
Of course.
Got rid of the middleman. Went straight to the big guy. I'm not dealing with you little guys anymore. I'm going straight to the top. Jerome shot up like a rocket. He said, "I'm give me some of this,
Yeah. Why not?
and I'm gonna bring some back for everybody. We're all gonna share."
Everybody. The sun is not discriminating. You
Yeah.
know, it's hitting, right? It doesn't matter, you know, who you are, where you live, how you were raised, your upbringing, your denomination, your ethnicity,
Mm.
your location. Raining on these cosmic forces are raining on everyone. This energy is in abundance, and if you embrace that oneness, you realize you are abundant, right? It's giving you a perfect example of love that's unconditional.
Mm.
So I was like, yeah, let me get positional, right? Let me put
Yeah,
myself in the right position to receive, you know?
the poet strikes again. Ah, I
Right?
love the prana rhymes.
Yeah. I had, I had to let go of all of that superstition and just get myself in the right position.
Mm.
Yeah.
You know, man, it's so so much goodness. It's like sometimes like I don't even know which one to pick out of all. Like you said, all these cosmic forces are raining down upon us, and we're influenced by it all, right? Like we whether we realize it or not. And it's like one metaphor analogy I could come up with that I could relate is food, right? I remember prior to becoming conscious about how food affected my body, I didn't know that it did. I remember I once had a friend, and he was the first one of all my friends that would tell me, "Oh, when I eat this and this, I feel this way and I feel that way." And I remember looking at him like, "How do you know how it makes you feel?" Like I eat whatever and it doesn't like I don't even. I was so desensitized, from my body in that regard that I couldn't make the connection of how food made me feel. And so the same thing can be said about these cosmic forces, right? That even the tides are influenced by the moon. So of course, all these celestial phenomenons affect us, and they're raining down on us. We're literally in this field. And so with that, I'm just curious. To me, qigong is like a practical way of getting in tune with that, right? And so I'm curious how qigong has let you know, has shown you, revealed this to you, shown it beyond the whatever of a doubt, however that phrase goes. Yeah.
Yeah, great question once again. The way that it reveals to you, it reveals, to me, it reveals through feel. You know, the way that I feel, it became a feeling state. It was like, you know, rediscovering a relationship, rekindling a relationship with a long lost lover,
Mm.
right? Like you've been separated for a little while. You weren't really separated, but you felt a separation. So you're kind of bringing that vibration back into your field, and you see how you feel, right? So that feeling is real. It's Qigong is one of the quickest ways for you to feel energy, for you to feel the feeling of chi, for you to feel the flow, for you to, break blockages up in the body. It's one of the quickest ways. It's not the only way. There's so many ways, but it's just one way. It's just one way to feel that and to reveal that. Because for me, when I was going long periods on what we might call prana days or freedom days, where there's no eating or drinking, nothing is coming into the vessel, Qigong became my food. Food was Qigong. So I remember when my energy would dip and I became more perceptive of this energy dip. It became my directive to become more perceptive because I was becoming hypersensitive, hyper aware to what was already there all around in the air. So I would put my hands up, right? And I'm putting my hands up, and at first you think like, oh, am I just doing this? Am I just sucking am I just tricking myself into doing this? This seems silly, right? But then over time, you feel like your mind is able to unwind over time, and that inner light is able to shine over time, and then it increases and increases. You see weird things happening. Children are looking at you a lot more often. Animals are watching you a lot more often. These owners and their dogs, they're like having to drag them away. The dog is like, oh, what are you looking at, right? And all these dogs, they're responding to you for some reason. Nature and animals and people, the things are responding to you. And you realize, oh my God, you're becoming more magnetic, right? Not only are you becoming more energetic, you become more magnetic. Like you said, with the moon, the energy of the moon, you become more in tune. So this wasn't in my conscious curriculum. This wasn't in my vernacular, my vocabulary when it came to vibrancy, vitality. I wasn't thinking that, what? I was like, give me those, I was at Wild Wings on Tuesdays. I was at Popeyes on Tuesdays, right? The two-piece, I was getting myself a two-piece with a biscuit, I knew like a biscuit, right? That was me risking. I was getting the biscuit. That was my risk, right? I was grabbing the risk. That was my risk, right? But I'm saying, okay, come what may, I don't care. I just want to feel something that I had never felt before in my life. I had to do something I'd never done to feel something I never felt. To have a life I could have never imagined, I had to challenge myself and be willing to say, you know what? If I die, I die. It got to that point. It literally got to that point where I wasn't suicidal, but I let go. I completely surrendered. And it was through that surrender, something else came in. Ellie Tom likes to say, we think about the ascension of energy, where there's also a descension of energy, that you allow yourself to be a conduit, like a flute that can play music through the flute because of its emptiness. There's empty space. So now you can blow through the flute and you can play that beautiful music. I felt the cosmos, the universe was playing through me because I was empty, Wow. There was nothing else blocking up gunking up the pipes, blocking up the communication, the radio stream, So it was like a light beam that can come through you and then it flows through you. So that allowed me to see more, allowed me to feel more. I told you on our pranic church, it opened my olfactory senses, so my nose came open, right?
Yeah.
I was smelling things down the block. I was smelling stuff everywhere. And it became like orgasmic just to eat through my nose wherever I'd go. I felt like Toucan Sam. You ever heard of Toucan?
No. Yeah. That sounds like a funny name, though.
Toucan Sam is Fruit Loops, because I used to have the Lucky Charms with the leprechaun, Lucky Charms, and the Cheerios with the bumblebee, and then the Cinnamon Toast Crunch and the Cookie Crisp, right? Got milk, right? I remember all the athletes with the mustaches that got milk, and milk does a body good. And here I am as
wow, yeah, bringing me back.
I'm a little kid. I'm a little kid reading comic books, and I have my, my sugary snacks, and I'm lathering them with fluids from other animals, from other species. You know, I'm taking the fluids from another species, and I'm lathering it over sugary snacks, and I'm eating it in the morning, every morning.
Mm.
And so that allowed me to see, oh my goodness, what if I just didn't do that? What if it's not about what I do, but what I don't do?
Mm.
What about if it's not what I start, but what I stop?
Mm.
That was the mic drop,
Mm.
for me. That was the mic drop for me. So, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I resonate a lot with that. I do. I do. Yeah. That's man. Yeah. For one, I was thinking, this is again so much. But for one, it's like you said, the clean connection, right? Your body becomes empty, and then the signal is clean. It's clear. And you said, man, you said something really good there too about the when you started doing all this. It's like you became reacquainted with like a lost lover, right? And it just made me think of like the whole biblical story of how we were in the kingdom of heaven, and then we disconnected from it, right? We got thrown out of the Garden of Eden. But did we really? It's always there. We cut off our own connection. We left in our own shame and guilt of knowing that we're now naked and we ate the fruit we weren't supposed to, or whatever. And it's like now you're becoming reacquainted with that and bringing that back in. Bringing the universe back into you. I imagined even when you were walking around, you said, and all the animals are looking at you. The the pet owners have to hold their pets back because the pets they wanna go with you now.
They,
I want
like
to go with that
they're
guy.
literally like dragging the leash. They're like, "Come on, come on, come on!" And the dog is like looking at me like I'm the most interesting thing he's ever
Yeah.
seen. And I'm he seeing? What is he seeing? It's crazy. It's crazy. I see
Yeah.
a lot of cats. I see a lot of cats now. When I used to never be as observant or as sensitive to see them, some people think of cats as like trans-dimensional travelers. They're like dimensional travelers
Mm.
that if you see a cat, that means the cat wanted you to see it. Like
Mm.
you won't see it unless she wants to be seen, right? And so now I'm seeing
Interesting.
all of them. And that cat down the road that Ralph Smart would always talk about, the cat down the road, now I'm seeing it. I'm seeing the cat down the road. I
It all comes around full circle. Oh my God. The glitch in the matrix.
yeah, you remember.
Broke free. Yeah. It's like, I'm just imagining like as the visual is that while you're working with all this energy, right? And you're cleaning out your system, you're clearing it up, everything's running better. The circuitry and the circulation, right? We use all these words, and it's almost like I can picture you becoming like your own solar system, right? As you're walking around this neighborhood, it's like you're this big shining sun, and you got all these things orbiting around you, and naturally, everyone wants to kind of be part of that like beautiful, diverse, and lively solar system, because you being in your alignment, whatever comes into your field, right, into your gravity, finds their own alignment. They become a comet there in your solar system, something that just is aligned with their own energy as well, so they just want to like be a part of that. They gravitate towards you, right? We use these same words, so it's so interesting. And then you solar charge them, just like the sun charges us. you're now charging them so they feel great around you. They feel their own energy around you. So that's so beautiful. And what you said about stopping, right? Instead of like what do I start? What do I stop? And I really feel like the whole spiritual journey is more about subtraction than it is about addition, right? It's removing these things. It's becoming like that empty cup that you had mentioned, so that way you could take all of this in, and so that's that. Yeah, that. Thank you for sharing all that. I love I love hearing, I love hearing, especially from the cultivators. Like people that embody what they're talking about. Like you could tell when you speak, you're speaking from a feeling. You're speaking from you've cultivated this, you're feeling this, and it becomes effortless to speak on. A lot of times in the spiritual community, it's every community. I'm not going to bash on the spirit. I'm just using them right now, but it's like a lot of people kind of speak from the ego. They want to be heard, and they want to feel important, which is fine. Like we all have these things, it's understood. But the more you practice this and you develop your own connection, the less you need of other people's validity, the external validity and whatnot. But it's always refreshing to hear from those that embody what they're talking about, and it's felt so much deeper. It's so much more impactful, and of course, that's why everybody gravitates towards you, man, and they want to feel more of themselves through you. You're just helping them. So thank you for that, brother.
Yeah. Thank you, man. You become a mirror. Like you said, you do become a reflection, but it is a deeper connection, because as deep as you can feel yourself is as deep as you can feel someone else.
Mm.
So I do enjoy that because your presence does become medicine for those around you. I remember hearing, someone was telling me like, hey, when you come around, there's less arguments, there's less disputes, you know, there's less tension. It feels like there's less. And I was like, why do you think that is? And one of the reasons they said it, he said, I don't know if it's really all your energy, but I think it's people just don't want to act up around you. So they just don't want like they don't want to see that side of themselves while you're around, And I've had this happen with people like I'm not gonna judge anybody for cursing, for saying different types of words, for using, language and like I don't discriminate for anybody. And I could never judge somebody for that, but I feel people judging themselves when they're around me, Like they
Yeah.
might cuss, they might say something and be like, "Oh, my bad, I'm sorry." I'm like, "What? Why do you apologize? Just be you, right? Just be yourself." And they're like, "No, I just, I mean,
I love that.
And it was the same thing with food. I went through that where I would spend the night at a friend's house or a family member, and they'd be cooking something, and they'd be like, "Man, are you sure? You sure you can't have this? Are you sure? Man, I feel so guilty eating this in front of you. You sure? Man, I feel terrible. I feel horrible. I don't want to eat this in front. Are you sure? You sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm good. Like, eat up, right? Bon appetit.
Yeah.
Be complete. Go ahead and eat, right?" And they just had this feeling of like guilty feeling, shame, whatever that feeling is within them, that they didn't want to do something around me that I was not doing.
Mm.
It was like separation because there was nothing between us, And I'm just
Yeah.
sitting here, there's nothing between us, It's just us. But they needed something, to feel that less awkwardness. It was awkward because they were eating, I wasn't eating. So there's a lot of things that I've had to go through and grow through when it came to that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think like the word you used there, reflection too. That I see it as like you become such a clear mirror, right? Because you're such a clean vessel, you become such a clear mirror, that you reflect back to them, with what they're already feeling, that sense, if there's any guilt or shame, they feel it more. And so yeah, that's what it's funny seeing that. I know what you're talking about. So Wayne and I have called it like even the confessions, right? So I've noticed a lot of what religion does came from beings that became whole, right? Holy. They became whole, holy, and they developed a strong connection with Source. And then things started happening around them. And what happens is sometimes when we institutionalize stuff, we try to replicate what works, like marketing, right? So one of the things that I notice is people will confess around you. Like when you're a clean vessel, they just feel it. Oh, so I did this. I'm sure you've had this happen, right? They'll come in. Oh man, yesterday I did this, and that, and you're like, why are you even they feel called to like confess to you, and something is released there because you're not judging them for it. So they feel, for one, they feel safe being able to say it, and two, they could finally release it through you and your non-judgment. And so it's really interesting, to be a part of that. But it's beautiful that you get to be such a positive influence in the world, that when people come into this space, like you said, there's no arguments, there's no that tension, because like the way I look at it is everyone's got like tension within themselves, turmoil, and then they meet other people who also got tension and turmoil in them, and then they activate that in each other, and then they think they don't even know why they start arguing. I was one of those, man. I used to attract fights, and I never looked for fights, but I would always attract them because there was a part of me that felt like people would always take advantage of me because I'm smaller. So I had like this Napoleon complex chip on my shoulder. And then I swear I would somehow attract the people that are feeling the same way in some way. And we'd lock onto it. Somehow something would happen. And I didn't look for it, but somehow I did, and I didn't realize until later. But when you don't have that tension and turmoil within you, it's almost like people come around you, right? And they're like, oh, I can let this go. I don't have to hold on to this. Yeah, yeah. And then there's no arguments around Jerome.
It's a beautiful thing to watch. It's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. It's like I love how you said that. The call to confession, you know. It's always a blessing to have the call to confession. It's like there's always a lesson in the call
Mm,
to confession, right?
mm, yeah, yeah.
And even with each Qigong session, it feels like there's an energetic expression with each Qigong session.
Mm,
Feel that stress, that anxiety lessen, right? You can release it off of your body. You can let it go because you just allow it to flow. So it's almost
mm,
um, with my body, I never knew that I could actually talk to my body. This was one of the things I learned on this journey. I didn't know I could talk to my body. Like what? Like talk to my body? My body could hear me? My body is listening? Like, they say everything that you say, your cells, your whole body is listening.
mm,
Every word that you speak, when you speak a word against yourself or against someone else, it's the same in the brain,
mm.
you know? The brain, the subconscious mind, is not like trying to find or separate the two. You think you're talking to them, you're talking to you, right? So whenever you give yourself that grace and you're able to embrace yourself, that's one of the best things you can do for your health,
Mm,
you know?
mm.
That's what I had to do as well. Yeah.
I love that, man. One of my buddies, man, all the way from high school, I think. He just wrote here, "Hey, blood, hope all is well, my brother." He wrote bars,
Oh,
and yeah, Jerome is always spitting spiritual bars, man.
so blood. out the blood. They your blood.
Oh man. Yeah, yeah,
Man, thank you
man.
for the questions, man. I really appreciate it. You know, it's always cool to like to have that energy reflected and redirected. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, I enjoyed it too, man, and I appreciate you as well, man, because I always see you in the lives, and I love how you're always watering people, you know, like, and just like just bringing out their truth, you know, you give them a platform to just bring out their truth and let them shine, and so I always I wanted to hear your, you know, I wanted to hear about your truth as well, you know. You're always the one asking questions, so I wanted to hear from the questioner. So it's beautiful to get to hear, you know, your origin stories, man, and hear about your journey and development. And yeah, man, looking forward to hear more. I know you're also a fellow martial artist as well, man. So I was thinking in some other talk, man, maybe we could talk about martial arts and you know how that has helped us in cultivation and
Uh,
what the connection is in martial arts and spirituality, because there's a lot, I know, you know, but it's not always apparent, especially to those maybe outside of it who might be interested in it. Who knows, you know.
yeah, lock it.
Yeah,
Let's do it. Let's do it, man.
for
Yeah.
sure, man. Absolutely, brother.
On the next episode.
On the next episode of Dragon Ball Chi. Pop, pop. Love you, brother.
Right.
May
Much
your day continue to be blessed.
love.
Yes, sir. Peace.